for showing up. It is, what day is it today? Thursday the 14th for the Traffic and Transportation Commission. Bless you. At 6 p.m., let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Let's see. Good evening. Agendas are available at the back of the room in front of the entrance if you need any, including hearing aids if required. Can we start off with a roll call, please?
Commissioner Daly did inform us that she would not be here today. Commissioner Matali? Here. Commissioner Sornio?
Here.
Commissioner Hammer?
Here.
Commissioner Guerra?
Here.
Commissioner Peterson?
Getting it dialed in? Is it working?
Not yet, but we'll find out in a few seconds. I gotta find channel 4.
You want to say here? You want to say here?
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez?
No, one. Commissioner Hernandez? Did you hear? Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Do we have any public comments that are for items not on the agenda? Any member of the public wanting to address the commission on items not on tonight's agenda, but under the purview of the commission, may do so at this time. There will be an opportunity to approach the commission regarding scheduled agenda items as they are addressed by the commission. Please limit your comments to 2 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm Eloise Schiff, and I want to comment about the fact that the MST, I learned, is planning to move their transit station, which is over catty corner here, in the fall, to the train station. And I just want to comment that I think that that is a very dangerous traffic proposal to do that, because they're going to be putting a lot of buses there, and there's only the bus station here. Now, buses come in from different streets. You have 3 different main streets, but there's only one opening to the train station, and it's going to be a lot of traffic. It's already a lot of traffic. There's already a lot of trucks, semis, big rigs, whatever you want to call them. They go faster than they go down Central here, and they go too fast on Central. So Highway 183, yeah, they're going faster. And then they said, well, they're going to put some kind of a addition so that the people, like the seniors and stuff that live across the street, can get to the bus station. No, I don't care what they put there. If they put a 4-foot wall there, one of those semis is going to hit the elderly people in the wheelchair. That is just throwing the seniors literally under the bus to do that. And literally, you're throwing them under the bus. So, yeah.
Thank you.
If you want to complain, if you're a person and you agree with me, you can go to the public comment by June 2nd and tell them it's a very bad idea.
Thank you. Mrs. Lai, how are you, sir?
Fine, how are you?
Excellent.
All right, Peter Zalai. So I'm here to see if I can get some support for banning the use of the Alvin Overpass as a construction and demolition debris site. So I don't know if you know the area. So we bought our house in 1972, and Alvin and Cherokee were the main roads. And Alvin was supposed to go over the freeway and connect to Davis, and it was never done. And so that funneled a whole heck of a lot of traffic down Cherokee. Cherokee is a major thoroughfare now as people cut through. They don't want to use Laurel and they don't want to use or they don't want to use Main and they don't want to use the main roads to get to the freeway or wherever they're trying to get to. And so the Public Works Department, in their wisdom, decided to use that vacant land, because it's designed for an overpass and it's not being used for anything, to put a construction and demolition debris site. So there's an ugly chain link fence across it, and there's huge piles of dirt and broken concrete and all the rest of it. And then they leave the gate wide open for time. And so there's opportunistic dumping that goes on, as people want to avoid the $50 fee, when you go down to the dump. So I've been going back and forth with the city manager and the public works director and all the rest. So this does not need to be in a residential area. It is, there's lots of dust. There's a whole lot of trucks that rumble by because of this thing, and it's ugly, and it doesn't belong in a residential area. So if you guys could support a banning of that use of that area, that would be fantastic. It could be used for something else. Mr. Peterson said that at one time it could have been used as a dog park or additional parking or maybe some green space, maybe something that could be an asset to the residents in that neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Yolanda Hayes, Creek Bridge. I agree with our previous speaker of the station that's being moved to this area. I think that's a very bad idea. It was good where it was at, but I guess they need that area for something else. So I'll definitely speak with her later on that. I also am still concerned about Constitution in Manchester. We need to put some lines there, strip lines, because it is a very dangerous area. You have a sudden curve onto Little River, and then that curves a deep curve into the rest of Little River, and there's always children playing there. And now, I mean, you have cars that are going into our neighborhood that are going about 40, 50 miles an hour. And to do that curve, and especially with myself and my husband being seniors, it just makes it really difficult to see what's coming, because they just don't care. And they're all youngsters, pretty young. And I hope you all got to see what Greenfield did with the bikes and all that they're doing over there. They are really going to enforce it. I really hope it works. I hope we can do something similar here. I don't know why we take so long to do anything, but I like the way Greenfield did it. They just went ahead and said, these are not allowed and you're going to be fined. And if you don't do this and you do this, this is what's going to happen, to the point that they're going to take away their bikes, impound their bikes. So I hope everybody got a chance to read that. I hope I didn't offend anybody, but it's true. I used Mr. Guerra's quote, do your job. so it's like everything. They have to get it done. They can't just say, oh, poor people. It's like we've had enough of that, and they don't do anything. Same thing in the parks. They don't close the parks because they'll get fined. Well, you break the law, you're supposed to get fined.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, do we have any more public comment in the chamber? Anything on Zoom? Sweet. All right, let's move on to written communications. Are there any written communication received by staff regarding items on the agenda that were received after the report packets were sent out? Nobody commented? Okay. All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. The items included under the consent agenda may be acted upon entirely with a single motion by the commission. Are there any questions from the commissioners with regard to items under the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, do we have any public or comments regarding the consent agenda? Outstanding. Any more questions or comments from any commissioners regarding the consent agenda? Let's do a roll call. Please.
Commissioner Matali?
Approved.
Commissioner Osornio?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Guerra?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson? And Commissioner Hernandez?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Now we have a consideration agenda. We are voting on this. The action request of the commission is to approve No, you guys are going to do a presentation first, right? Let's do the presentation before we approve anything. Yeah, thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jonathan Hernandez. I'm with the Traffic Division in the Public Works Department. Tonight, I'll be presenting to you all the 2026 Engineering and Traffic Surveys for speed limits. Tonight's recommended motion is staff requests that the Commission review the 2026 Engineering and Traffic Surveys and recommend that the City Council adopt a resolution approving the establishment of speed limits as recommended by the 2026 Engineering and Traffic Survey for speed limits technical report. In summary, speed surveys for 12 roadway segments are set to expire in the second half of 2026. Surveys were conducted. Staff recommendations are retention of 8 roadway segments, reduction of the speed limit of 3 roadway segments, and increase 1 roaming segment. Background, speed limit is a federal device. Engineering and traffic surveys shall be conducted every 5 to 7 years. This is mandated by the California Vehicle Code. If engineering and traffic survey is not performed within the required time frame, that speed limit is no longer valid and cannot be properly enforced. The methodology for establishing the speed limits, there's 3 components to it. First is data collection, where there's an indiscriminate sample data that is taken during normal traffic conditions. This is the speed of 100 vehicles is taken. It's 50 vehicles per bound. After the speed is collected, there's a data analysis in which 85 percentile speed is collected. What the 85 percentile speed is, it's the speed at which 85% of the vehicles are traveling at or below. Once the 80 percentile speed is collected and determined, staff will use the ME2CD guidelines to determine or establish a speed limit. In addition, California Assembly Bill 43, called in short AB 43, came into effect July 2024. What this does, it allows local agencies to further reduce the speed limit by 5 miles per hour if the speed limit after the survey was conducted still seems pretty high. It's only applicable to roadway segments that are considered or designated as safety corridors, or that any segment that it's adjacent to land or facility that generates a high concentration of bicyclists and pedestrians. For example, if there's presence of children, schools, the unhoused, this can be taken into consideration. Here's the list of the surveys that were set to expire in the second half of 2026. As I mentioned, 8 of these roadway segments will maintain their speed. I'll go to the list quickly. Chaparral Street has an existing speed limit of 25. It will be retained at 25 miles per hour. However, Tao Street has a speed limit of 30 miles per hour. The measured speed limit, or the 80th percentile that was measured, was at 32. It was rounded to 30 per ME2CD standards. And there was a 5 mile per hour reduction that was taken that takes it to a 25 mile per hour. Post Drive, the existing speed limit is 30. It was measured at 32 miles per hour. The standard 5 mile per hour reduction was taken, which puts it back at 30 miles per hour. Monterey Street has an existing speed limit of 25 miles per hour. The 80% of speed that was collected was 26 miles per hour. It was rounded down to 25 per ME2CD standard, and it stays at 25 miles per hour. Turbine Avenue has the existing speed limit of 25 miles per hour. the measured 80 percentile speed was 32. It was rounded to 30 miles per hour, and the MGT standard that allows for a 5 mile per hour reduction was taken, puts it back at 25 miles per hour. Hanson Street has the same procedure. Speed limit is 25 miles per hour. The 80 percentile speed that was measured is 32 miles per hour. It was rounded down to 30 miles per hour, and we took a 5 mile per hour reduction that's allowed, putting it back at 25 miles per hour. I'm sorry, at 30 miles per hour. However, John Street, existing speed limit is 35 miles per hour. It was measured at 38 miles per hour, rounded up to 40 miles per hour. Using the procedure for the standard procedure, it will go down to 35 miles per hour, but we were able to apply the AB 43 since it's located to there's a school, and it's the presence of bike lanes allows us to make that the further 5 mile per hour reduction. Therefore, we reduced it to 30 miles per hour. This same process was done to Freedom Parkway. The speed limit it's 35 miles per hour. What we measured was 38 miles per hour. We rounded it to 40 miles per hour. Using the standard MTCD procedure, we applied the 5 mile per hour reduction that would have put it at 35 miles per hour. However, Freedom Scornberg is also adjacent to a school and has bike lane facilities. Therefore, we were able to apply AB 43 and do the extra 5 mile per hour reduction, putting it at 30 miles per hour. Scornberg Parkway has an existing speed limit of 25 miles per hour. However, we measured the 85th percentile speed at 43 miles per hour, which is significantly higher. We rounded per MTCD to the nearest 5 mile per hour increment, which is 45. Applying the MTCD procedure, standard procedure, we reduced to 40 miles per hour. We still believe it's a fairly high speed limit. Therefore, given that it's adjacent to a school and there's bike lane facilities, we applied AB 43, reduced it 5 more miles per hour. Therefore, we put it at 35 miles per hour. North Davis has an existing speed limit of 35 miles per hour. We measured it at 39 miles per hour using the rounding to the nearest 5 mile per hour increment, puts it at 40 miles per hour. We apply the 5 mile per hour reduction allowed by the MTCD, which puts it back to 35 miles per hour. Alsop Street, existing speed limit is 25 miles per hour. It was measured at 30 miles per hour. There was no need to round. We applied the 5 mile per hour reduction by MTCD standards and puts it back at 25 miles per hour. Lastly, Tao Street has an existing speed limit of 25 miles per hour. It was measured at 31 miles per hour, rounded down to the nearest 5 mile per hour increment, which puts it at 30 miles per hour. We applied the 5 mile per hour reduction, puts it back at 25 miles per hour. With that, any questions?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Let's start on my right. Mr. Commissioner Hernandez.
None. Thank you.
Okay. To you.
I have a couple of questions here. This is in Montebella, my neighborhood. And have you guys driven down Scornberg by any chance? How far have you gotten down where you need to reduce speed? How far down Scornberg have you gone where you need to reduce speed? Because you got a curve coming up. That should be like 5-10 miles tops on the curve in the corner. You haven't been to Scornberg, huh?
Sorry, it was done in Scornberg.
Okay, Scornberg.
I don't think I understand the question.
I'm sorry?
I don't think I understand the question.
The question is, have you driven down Scornberg
yeah,
to determine the speed? Because people do 45, 50 through there. And then right when you get to the last street, I forgot the name of it.
Freedom, or
towards the end, before the
Pavia,
curve.
Pavia. Wait,
There you go. It curves really hard. That's why there's a lot of accidents there. So are you going to put a different speed on the curve? Because you don't have a speed on the curve.
a speed limit, or is that a different speed?
A speed limit.
A speed limit
or-
sign? Or speed
Yes.
limit?
To
So-
reduce it?
Well, so a survey was conducted per the guidelines. What was collected there was, so 85% of the vehicles or below drive at 42 miles per hour. 43 miles per hour, that's what
What
our
time did you do your
survey.
survey?
I'll have to check in.
Yeah, you guys need to redo that survey, because I live there, that's ridiculous. No. People go a lot faster than 45 through there. I guarantee you that.
That's why, so once we collected that speed, we're allowed to round down to go to 45 miles per hour, round up. We're allowed to reduce it to 5 miles per hour more, which gives it to 40. Now we thought that's very high, so that way we were able to apply AB 43, which reduced it down to 35. We
Because
can go.
actually, you went up, because it's 25, you went up to 30, right?
So it's going up, but it's when we did the survey, it was measured that 85% of the drivers were going 14 miles per hour.
Jonathan, can you explain your off-peak sampling period, or how you guys did that?
That's what I asked him.
Yeah. No, I mean, what time you guys went out there, you
That's
weren't
what I asked
during peak times, or you
So
weren't during...
the survey is taken at normal conditions. Therefore, it can be taken during peak hours or.
See, I think whoever's doing the surveys out there, no disrespect, you're not doing it correctly. Because you need to be out there when there's really traffic out there. Don't go out there like at 11 o'clock when everybody's at work, or 1 o'clock. I mean, go out there at 5, 6, 7. Go right after 5 o'clock. Perfect. Do it that time, because I think you're not giving the right information here. Because I live there and I see cars go over. We have videos. I sent you a bunch of stuff, Gerardo, and you've seen it. You guys have seen all that stuff I sent you. The cars going over and stuff. So you need to put a speed limit. If you're going to increase it around that corner, you need to put another speed limit like 15 or 5 or 10, whatever you decide to do, so people know they need to slow down. And also, you need to have that blinking light, like I told you, that you have over here by Home Depot, that I've asked you guys several times. It's been a couple of years now that we need to put them out there, because people don't see that road come into a curve. And that turns into Freedom Parkway. And then you pass right into Freedom. You have Mr. Bengard on the right, and you have a park on the left, and you have Montebello Elementary. There's no way you can have somebody going 35, 30 miles an hour through there. It's impossible. You're going to hit somebody. You can cause an accident. That's why I'm asking these questions. I don't agree with your survey.
Okay, so is the question really about the not capturing the higher speeds? Or is the
it's about
question?
safety.
No, sorry, excuse me. Is the question, because you did ask the question about the time frame and basically about we're not capturing all of the speeds based on your understanding. So is the question really, are you trying to say that speeds are higher than what we measured them, or is that, am I not understanding that correctly?
What I'm trying to make you understand is that unless you guys live there or you drive that every day, people that don't live there drive through there, so they don't know what the speed limit is. It's 25. You're going to make it 30. But once you come to the corner where Schaumburg meets Freedom Parkway, you need to put another speed sign that says, or a blinking light to make people slow down, like by Home Depot. Hey, 5 miles an hour, because people take that curve and go off the cliff. They go into the fields. I'm saying I don't think you have the correct, accurate, or the correct data to make this determination. Because if you're going to up the speed limit, people are going to go faster now, because it's 25 now. Now it's 30. So instead of going you're 42, they're going to go 52, 62 through there till they hit the curb. There's going to be an issue there.
So we can take a look at the curb. The curb is a completely separate issue because it's not, basically, what we're measuring is the straightaways, right? Because obviously you're not even going to be traveling 25, and I do travel that street. You don't even take it at 25. You can't at that turn.
I mean, you can't even do it at 10, I don't think. Maybe 5.
So that is a completely separate issue. What we're talking about really is about that straightaway. And we cannot pick an arbitrary number. So we do go out, we do measure the speeds, and we can only reduce them based on the measured speeds. So if what you're telling us is, hey, go out there at a different time frame because there's more people, because people are driving faster, then legally we would have to raise the speed even more, because we can only reduce them if it's first MUTCD allows us to reduce them 5 miles, and then AB 43 allows them to reduce an additional 5 miles, but that's it.
Okay, Ariana, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm sorry. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I don't mind if you raise the speed limit 5 miles an hour. Just put a caution light or put another speed sign when you get closer to the curb. Reduce speed ahead, reduce to this mile per hour, because you give somebody a 30 mile per hour, they take that at 30 miles an hour, that's a lawsuit on you.
Correct, and we will take a look at that too.
That should have been done already.
That area to see
That
how
should
we
have
can
been done
address
already
it.
before you presented this. That should have been done, Ariana.
Oh, so Gerardo is telling me that there is a 15-mile-an-hour sign for that curve.
Okay.
That is already posted.
Have you taken it at 50 miles an hour? That's fast for that curve. Have
Well,
you
we
driven
can-
that head out of them? I'm just asking. Do me a favor, drive it, please. All you guys, please drive down there and tell me if you can do that at 50 miles an hour without flinching or almost hitting the other side. And if
Well-
you can do it, I'm down for it.
We will take a look at it.
Please, please. And then that also brings me to the other one on Freedom Parkway. Same thing. You have a school there, you have a park, you have a person that unloads semis next door, Mr. Bengard. I mean, him and the lettuce trucks come out. You're looking for an accident to happen there. So for you to up that speed limit on that area coming into from Freedom Parkway and East Alisal this way, I don't recommend you increase that speed there. You can do it on the other side of Alisal, going that way, on Freedom Parkway, going towards, what is it called? The Cesar Chavez Park, is that what it's called? No, not Cesar Chavez, what is it? The one in Las Casitas? Tiverette Creek Park, there you go. I mean, you can do that way, but not this way into Montevilla. That's too fast. I mean, they pick up their kids on that side. I have video I took today about that on Freedom Parkway where they pick up their kids and they block that lane. I've complained to the city. I've talked to everybody I can about it. They haven't done anything about that. People park and pick up their kids there and don't care. They do it on Alvarez, the same thing. They do it on Williams Road, where Alisal High School is. It's the same thing. We're not dealing with the safety part of the speed limits here. That is my issue with that, with this concern here. If you're going to raise that speed limit, it doesn't go all the way through past into, I want to say, past Williams Road into Montevilla.
Freedom's actually going to be reduced to 30 miles per hour. It's going from 35 to 30.
It's going down?
Yeah. To 30
You
miles.
think 30 miles per hour is safe next to a school and to a park? Do you understand what I'm saying? You guys got to drive down there. I don't think you guys are doing the right research.
No, it's because we have to follow the guidelines by the MTCD. We can't base it on judgment. We have to.
Well, then you
Follow.
need to actually do the right research then, because if you want to just, do your speed limits on straightaways, that's not right. That's going into a neighborhood. You're going to make that neighborhood unsafe. There's a 3-way stop sign there. Do you guys know that?
Yeah, we're aware of the.
You guys need to drive down there, man. I'm sorry. I just think the research is incorrect. Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Patelli?
I do have a few questions. When I first started on the commission, there was a traffic survey done for traffic calming, and you mentioned the procedure, the process to do those surveys. Can you just briefly remind us all? So the concern is, what time did you do it? But I remember specific things about it's a stretch of time, and it's not just like a 1-hour window where you do these surveys, concerns, and get those numbers. Can you just remind us that process?
So the survey for speed limits, it's different from traffic calming.
Okay.
For speed limits specifically, the survey has to be done during normal conditions. It can't be during peak hours. as to be during normal conditions, and that's the time where these surveys are conducted.
And how would you define normal conditions?
Any time after 7 to 9 or before 4 to 6.
7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Anytime after 7 to 9, which is the
Okay.
peak hour for the morning, and before 4 to 6.
and before 4 to 6. So the comment that was made was you're not really getting the true traffic time. Would that be fair to say?
The comment was that we're not getting where the high speed is
Right.
being.
So if people go to work at 8 o'clock or drop their kids off at 8 o'clock, that's within the window that you're not doing, am I understanding correctly?
Yes, because we have to follow the guidelines. We can't just.
Understood,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to make sure I understand, right?
Yeah.
So when you talk about things like, how come you're not doing it at 5 o'clock? It's because your guidelines say you can't do it at 5 o'clock.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, just trying to make it all clear. And those guidelines come from the state.
MUTCD, which is mandated by the California Legal Code.
And I'm sorry, was that say those initials again?
MUTCD.
Yes, I saw that on the report. What does that stand for?
Manual Uniform for Traffic Control Devices.
And is that a state thing?
It's a federal.
It's federal, okay. Okay, so, not to be nasty or anything, but your hands are kind of tied on how the surveys are done. Okay, just want to make sure that I'm clear on that too. Okay. So the next question I have is, let's say, for example, where you're reducing the speed from 35 to 30, and that is a road that I take all the time. So I'm used to going 35. All of a sudden, if we recommend this to the city council and they approve these changes, they'll go into effect at some point. And again, I'm going to come back to how do we notify the public? So if I see a speed limit sign of 35, but I've been driving that road for 10 years and I know it's 35, I'm not really paying a lot of attention. I know that's on me, but I'm not really paying a lot of attention to that sign. And now all of a sudden it's 30 and I'm going to be going 40 thinking I got that 5-mile-an-hour window or whatever it might be, and I'm going to get caught. And if I remember from a previous meeting, there's no grace period. There's no like, we're reducing the speed, but we're going to give you 3 months before we actually implement the policy to fine you for that. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, again, I'm going to say, how is the public notified that, hey, this particular street is now reduced on the speed limit from 35 to 30 or whatever it might be?
That I'm aware of, they're not notified.
Sorry?
What I am aware of, they are not notified.
They're not notified,
It's
correct?
just
And that's what I
effective
think
whenever
has
it's-
been the recurring comment when I ask these questions. So is it really fair to the public that I will get a ticket for speeding on a road that I've driven for 10 years at this speed limit, and now all of a sudden the speed limit's changed? I get that speed limit sign will be there, right? But I'm just saying, if I've driven that road for 10 years and I know it's 35, I'm not even going to pay attention to the speed limit sign. So I'm concerned that the notification to the public isn't really there. And I know it's probably like in the city council packet after they approve this, the public has that available, but we discussed at the last meeting, for me to get to that information, I have to go through 7 or 8 steps, right? And the general public's not going to do that. And if you recall last time I said too, and I know you were talking about revising the website. So, I mean, this is the information that needs to be there, and the ownership needs to be on the public. Some changes have been made. You need to be aware of these changes because it's on you to be notified. But I have to, as the public, I have to be able to get to that information without jumping through 7 or 8 hoops, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Commissioner Arsenio.
I only have one question, just so that we're all on the same page and understanding. The recommendations that are on the report, with the speed limit that is going to be going up, I believe it's 5 miles per hour for Skongbrook?
It's 10, 25 to 35.
10 miles, yep, 10. It's going to go up from 25 to 35.
Correct.
So if this body recommends all of the adjustments on here to be made minus that, minus that one, what happens?
I think staff will still recommend Skonberg to be increased to 35 miles per hour.
So then I guess the second question would be, if this body doesn't recommend it to the city council, staff still recommends it, when the city council members vote on it, are they able to not approve that speed limit?
Yes, I believe they are.
And then obviously, I know it's going to be a follow-up question. You're going to give me the
Yeah,
answer,
so,
and I'm going to ask that next answer.
So I
question.
think I understand your question. So our staff report would obviously reflect exactly what the commission's actions are. And if there's any opposition, we would definitely include it in that staff report. So as a follow-up to your second question, if for whatever reason the council moves forward without an adjustment, then basically it might not be legally enforceable.
Okay, it might not be legally enforceable.
So that means that if somebody gets a ticket and challenges, this is public record, and they can challenge that ticket, and basically we would lose because our speed surveys do not reflect what the signage is.
Do you know what the percentage of speed that, I don't know if this is like an actual rule, but typically I always used to hear that you can go over speed limit like 5 or 10 miles, or, you know, like within 5. I don't know if
Commissioner,
that's,
you
I don't
shouldn't be
know if
speeding.
that is like legal. I mean, I think my grandparents probably told me something like that. But so my question is there a percentage of speed that could be traveled over or under the actual speed limit?
I don't know that
Okay.
the law would necessarily say.
And the reason that the reason that I ask is because it's 10 miles per hour. So if there is like some type of grace speed limit, then there might be a way that the city could kind of like not have that liability. Because I too believe that going up 10 miles per hour, I'm not okay with recommending that. And so I'm trying to figure out, you know, obviously knowing that, because I have driven by, I've driven by there many times, and the traffic does travel really fast. I can't find myself being okay or approving that. But I'm trying to figure out also how us as, you know, obviously representatives of this commission, I don't know how in good faith I can recommend that to the city council. But I also want to make sure that we're not creating liabilities for the city. So the good thing is that the city council will be able to get to handle that. So when we're ready, I have some. Yeah, no, we're not. So hopefully, no other questions. Thank you.
Okay, I just have a few, I guess, follow-up comments. In general, I don't really like speed increases myself, but I think in this particular, and this is more of a comment, not a question, but it's more of the built environment. If it looks like a freeway, we're going to drive like a freeway, right? So we're going to look at a nice long straight stretch and say, yeah, you got Commissioner Orsonio in his Prius who's going to get there in 3 days to the speed limit. And dude, I love Prius; they're great. But so, overall, I personally don't think 35 is necessarily bad. The problem is the people the 15% that go over, and those are the people that you're concerned about that do 85 at 11 p.m. at night, and then wrap themselves around the tree post or tree pole or whatever, or a light post, and go down into the ditch. So, having the rumble strips, the lights, the blinkies, a little bit of guardrail that you guys have to replace every other month would probably go a long way to not remove vehicles from a ditch. And then ultimately, unfortunately, it comes down to enforcement. And like today's STOP program that pulled over a plethora of people in South Salinas. I mean, I saw them. So I don't know, and I think we're all over the city. But more enforcement to run the people down on Schaumburg and Freedom, because they are racetracks, unfortunately. So with that, I think that's it for commissioner questions, and I believe we have to go out to public comment for this. So let's get that done and see what the public thinks. You guys have any comments?
Public comments?
Come on, Ms. Hayes, I know you got something.
There was nothing there about Laurel and Natividad. That's a nightmare. I don't know if that was even in the list that you evaluated, but I'm concerned about that because that's a speedway. I mean, Natividad and Laurel, and when you get to the intersection, I mean, there's cars parked because they're trying to make it to the red line, and they'll rush through there. It just goes really fast. I'm just curious, was anything done with Laurel and Natividad?
It's not on the list for this.
So what does that mean? It's just perfect, or?
The speed limit is still valid for at least 5 years.
I'm sorry?
That means that the speed limit there is still valid for at least 5 years. So whenever we bring these, it's because they're about to expire.
Do you know what that is, the speed limit on Laurel and Natividad?
I don't
Just off the top?
have it on top of my head.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I do 45. I drive like a
And-
grandpa.
And with Mr. Orsonio with that extra. You sound like my tenant. You know, I tell him the rent is due on the 1st, and he's got a grace period of so many days. I always get it at the last day of the grace period. So I put a clause in there to say, you only get 3 late periods because of emergency. They're not if I would have wanted it to say, you pay the rent on the 5th, then they do it on the 10th. So, you know, there has to be limits set. And I tell you, my husband got a ticket for driving too slow. He's about the only one in San Jose. So anyway, that's what you call it. And that was reckless driving.
Thank you. Any other public comments, please? Ms. Shim?
Well, my public comment just has to do with raising the speed limit in Salinas. For me, that's just, I can't imagine that any street you would raise the speed limit in any place in Salinas, because in my recollection, when I listened to the news in the last year or something, I'm seeing numerous people getting run over. I'm seeing numerous fatality crashes because of speeding. I'm seeing, you know, just all kinds of things. And also in other jurisdictions in Monterey County, they're lowering. They're not raising, they're lowering, they're mandating. So this thing that they're talking about, the federal guideline that you have to do, no, you don't have to do something that's going to increase danger.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, the federal thing is like they're doing the data from every place in the United States, but this place in Salinas has a speed problem. So if you're raising the speed limit, that's weird. That's not right.
Thank you. Do we have any comments online? All right. Let's go back to final comments, or actually bring it to a vote. Do we have a motion? Oh, your final comments from the final comments from the commission. Would you like to start, Ms. Hernandez?
None whatsoever. Thank you.
I got just a few comments. That state law is the reason why the speed limit on 101 through Prunedale had to be raised from 55 to 65, which was controversial at the time and did nobody any good, but it was required. And that's because so many cars were going well over 65. And the changes that you referenced in recent years, I can't say that they were caused by things like that, but there's a good chance they were, because we aren't the only ones stuck with that law. On the other hand, I got caught in a speed trap in Texas, and that law is intended to prevent things like that. I was told by a now retired traffic sergeant that if he wrote a speeding ticket for less than 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, he had to write a report. He wasn't kept from doing, and it was my understanding it was department policy, not law. He wasn't prevented from writing that ticket, but he had to justify it. And the conversation was a long time ago, I don't remember anything else. And something that would really, really help all this, it's totally out of our control, is bringing the traffic unit, if not up to what it used to be, what would be really better than that would be large. Getting back to a conversation with a different traffic sergeant, we kind of agreed that a couple dozen would be nice in Salinas. And they are the ones who do primary radar, and that's what is all about. What this discussion is all about. Because if you let's put it this way, I was with one of the traffic officers once, and he parked outside a school, and where the school zone went from 40, the speed went from 40 to 25, and he wrote 3 tickets for people who were still doing 40 to parents. And, you know, he was frustrated because of all the others that were still doing 40. Thank you.
Commissioner Arsenio, final comments? I'm changing it up. I'm going different orders.
Okay.
Keeping you on your toes.
No, and thank you for that. I did want an opportunity to kind of chime in a little bit more. I know obviously there's going to be a process if the city does give a ticket, or just saying if this were to not get approved, that recommendation on just that item, there would have to be, you know, obviously conversations with the police department that are writing the tickets. There'd also have to be a conversation with the legal. I understand that. And who knows, maybe after not recommending that, you know, my council member takes me off of the commission. But I just cannot make the recommendation to increase that speed limit up 10 miles per hour. There's already lots of speeding through there. And so I don't know if it's a motion to approve staff report minus the item of the 25 to 35. I don't know if that's a motion that could be done, Chair. I'm not sure.
I think you can motion for whatever you'd like, and
Okay.
as long as we get a second, we can go for it.
Okay, so the motion would be to approve staff's recommendation with all of the speed adjustments minus the Skongberg, which would be Alisal Road to Freedom Road. So that would be my motion. And again, thank you for the staff report. I understand, obviously, jurisdictions, right? We're a city, then there's the counties, there's the state, and then there's the feds. But I think a lot of us that are from here and think very practical, I can't wrap my head around increasing that. And I do agree as well with the little blinking lights as they're coming closer. Maybe it's a speedometer that shows the speed and all of those types of things to discourage folks from speeding. So again, thank you for your work on this. And so that's my motion.
Okay, so motion's on the table. Does anybody want to second that motion right now?
I'll second it.
Okay, before we go on roll call, if I can do this, can we finish the commissioner comments? And then we'll do that vote, and if that vote passes, we'll go along with the modified recommendation. If it doesn't pass, we'll look for a motion for a straight acceptance, I suppose. So, all right, Commissioner Matali, please.
Just one final comment, and I totally understand that you guys are guided by guidelines in there, but I feel like by saying the study, and we found that 85% of the people drove this fast, I completely understand that, but if 85% of the people jumped off the bridge, would you jump off the bridge? I mean, I know I'm being silly here, but you get the point is, if 85% of the people are going 50 miles an hour where it should be a 35-mile zone, we shouldn't make that adjustment just because the majority of the people are going that fast. But I understand your studies, I understand your guidelines, I completely understand, but I'm going to agree and vote on the amended part because I don't think we should increase anything just because people are going that fast. But I understand your study, I understand your survey, I understand what you guys are doing. But that would be my 2 cents. Thank you.
I'll have final comments before we go into a vote. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said so much already.
Every time, Mr. Hammer.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to. Start with that.
Ariana and Gerardo, I appreciate, and the other gentleman, this study, I do appreciate it. I just, due to safety conditions with a lot of kids walk through there, ride their bikes, a lot of pedestrians cross that street to go to Elsa High School, to go to the elementary school. They'll cross Freedom Parkway this way.
We're not talking about that segment, though, right?
Yeah, well, Schaumburg goes into Freedom Parkway. It's a whole thing.
But
To the Montevilla, right?
they're separate segments, separate traffic. They're separate road segments,
Yes.
though. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting to that. So I agree with all that, but I think that I can't accept people going faster, especially if we encourage that, then it's going to be another 5, 10 years when you do the survey again, another 10 miles an hour, and then it's going to be out of control. If you had all the proper traffic calming devices on Schaumburg, you might be able to push that. But right now you can't. It's too dangerous. And then to Mr. Orsonia's comment about the 10 miles per hour myth, there's 2 things that's called spirit of the law, and that's what it is. And the law itself, the spirit and the regular law. There's 2 things, and that's the discretion of the officer. But I understand. I grew up like that. Hey, you can do 10 miles over. Don't worry about it. You're on the 5. You can do, what is it, 70? You can do 80. You're fine. No, you can't. I'm sorry. And it is funny. I mean,
so there's a lot of public admission of speed demons here. So
I'm a grandpa now. I used to be.
okay.
I used to be. I grew up.
Are we,
But those are all my comments. Thank you guys. I appreciate all the work you've done. I just think you did it at the wrong peak hours, but I understand that you have a certain agenda to follow. And I wish we could change that. That's a federal thing. We got to work on that. So we need to find out how we can do that to get the proper information in there that we need. Thank you guys.
great. Thank you. I just want to say the posted limit is the max speed. Max speed for the conditions, and it can be lower if the officer decides that it needs to be lower. But 30, 35, whatever speed limit is, that is your max speed, and the signage tells you so. The people that are speeding, they are your neighbors. So I live in South Salinas. If I want to speed, I go on Blanco, man. I don't go down to Schaumburg. So the people in your neighborhood are the ones that are responsible for these speeds, and it's terrible. It sucks. And no, I'm Blanco, but it's nice and straight. So, but it's the people in your neighborhood that are the ones that are speeding. No one's, the people that speed down my street, they live 6 doors down. Or I'm actually
And
not.
the people visiting your neighborhood.
Yeah. So with that, I'm concerned about the liability potentially if we leave this out of the staff recommended highway approved or the federally approved MUTCD standards with the AB 43 reductions, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm concerned about the liability that would be exposed to the city. And I think that environmental design would have a way better fix from speeding and hardcore enforcement. And I know both are very hard to come by because both are budget line items. And we don't have that, unfortunately. So with that, let's go to a roll call vote for this amended motion to exclude Skonberg from the recommendation.
Commissioner Matali?
Yes.
Commissioner Sornio?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammer?
No.
Commissioner Guerra?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson? Yes. Commissioner Hernandez?
Yes.
There it goes.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Motion passes. And with that, we're going to move on to the commissioner comments and reports. Commissioner Hernandez, would you like to start out with any of your comments?
Yes. Is there a resolution on electric bikes and two-wheel razors, gas, here in town on their speed and riding on sidewalks, and plus their helmets? Do they get cited? Is there a speed limit for them? Is it enforced?
So can I mean, yes, it's a good question, but I'm not, is this the right venue to, because this is just final comments, not an actual question of the staff, right? Is this something we can?
You're correct. I mean, there's certain, I mean, in the past, staff has answered questions. One thing in regards to that is the topics and items can be, are brought up or can be brought up without being properly noticed and discussed because it's not being agendized. So typically, or in general, the section is more for any comments and reports from the commissions in that sense, and not necessarily questions about certain topics that are not agendized, that wasn't informed to the public, that there would be a discussion about it.
So, and I think it's a great question, don't get me wrong, but I think if we're going to ask direct questions from staff, we can ask these questions to be put on a future agenda item. So with that, because I have a feeling you're going to go the same direction as well, if two people on the commission say that we want to hear a report on the rules regarding scooters, e-bikes, class 1, 2, 3, helmet laws, et cetera, we're going to put it on the next agenda.
On a future agenda.
So let's see if there's a second for that question.
I second that.
Boom, there you go. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got several things. First, in my defense, I got here well under the speed limit, and here's my MST transfer to prove it. I was going to bring up e-bikes. Also, there's legislation in both the Assembly and the Senate regarding e-bikes in a bunch of different directions, and very often we're not talking about e-bikes, we're talking about scooters. And I know it's word difference, but the legality is significant. And I guess if we could get a report on something like that, that would help. But as I say, there's stuff in the legislature right now to make major changes. And just for what it's worth, County Parks has 2 e-bikes that go 50 miles an hour. I want one of those. But anyway, I was also going to bring up the end of Alvin Drive. Number one, a few years ago we had a fire there, and houses were endangered and all that. But also, when I ran for city council a dozen years ago, one of the neighbors bent my ear for quite a while on what a great dog park it would make. And I would suggest making it into a dog park. It's not a traffic issue, but it's a solution. I also eat breakfast in downtown area every day, and I see bicyclists and e-bikes and scooters recklessly on a daily basis. And this brings up two things. One, the main thing is, can we, I know the ordinance says we can prohibit bicycles from sidewalks in the downtown area, and I'm wondering what the procedure is. Is that something staff can do? And rhetorical question at this point. If it's something staff can do, I think we got 2 signs to that effect in Salinas, and it would be nice if we had a lot more than that. And this gets into enforcement, because a lot of people don't read signs. And the other thing is, I have been for many, many years involved in bicycle safety, and part of that is adults belong on the street. And we need to do something along those lines. And here again, this gets into, you know, a 6-year-old can ride on a sidewalk safely. I've heard of a number of fatal crashes where, I heard one the other day where a kid's mother was actually convicted of involuntary manslaughter because her son ran down an elderly woman on the sidewalk. And we really need to do something. And one of the things I'm going to be trying to do soon is get Salinas to take Vision Zero a bit more seriously. There's 3 parts to it. One is education. The city of Salinas has nothing really to do with that. I mean, the police department is contracted out to 5th graders. That's not the problem. The problem is a bus driver I was talking to last week who was telling me about kids popping wheelies in front of his bus. And they were teenagers. They weren't 5th graders. And the problem we have is teenagers and adults. And we need education. I don't know how you're going to educate them. That's not even the school system, especially adults. The second part is infrastructure, and that's where we come in, and that's also the part that's getting done as far as resources allow. So I'm not in any way trying to criticize Public Works. It's the opposite. And so that, but the big part, and I've already talked to the police chief about this briefly, is my suggestion is going to be expand the traffic unit and make them also responsible for the police part of Vision Zero. San Jose Police Department, when I went to a presentation a few years ago, had a separate unit only for Vision Zero, 5 police plus a supervisor. And I know what the answer is going to be if I suggest that here. But we could expand the traffic unit, and that'd take care of all the problems we've been talking, well, it wouldn't take care of, but it would help all the problems we've been talking about, and also make them responsible for doing something. And I intend to have something in writing on that as soon as I can. And you folks will probably hear more about it than you'll ever want to. Lastly, is really neat. I've been noticing in my neighborhood a bunch of lines on sidewalks and streets, and some are red and can be attributed to PG&E, and one leads right to a light pole outside where I live that hasn't worked in the time I've lived there. And it used to be little wires poking out the side. Those wires are gone. I don't know if PG&E took them or somebody recycling took them. But the other white lines are on the sidewalk, and it looks like my neighborhood is getting fixed, or at least partially. One of the sidewalks was closed today, and I think that's really good news. And I realize Public Works or contractors can't do everything overnight, but hey, I'll take what we're getting. It's going to be a big improvement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Guerra.
Yes, I want to thank the Traffic Calming Division. Thank you guys for bringing it to our attention. I have a lot of respect for you guys. I like what you guys do. I'm sad to say that the way they did the peak things on this how they did the survey was not really good, but we'll work on that. We can work on that. And a lot of meetings I went to last week. Measure G's coming up. Everybody be ready to vote. We need this to pass. We need it to pass, but we need the transparency of the city to help us gain that trust again. So we need people like you, Ariana, Gerardo, and the other gentleman, what's your name? John? John? Mucho gusto, John. Jose Guerra. We need more people like you to come forward and show us things like this. This is good. The transparency goes a long way. We need our infrastructure fixed. It needs to be fixed. That's the truth. I know we don't want to do it. We don't want to pay the extra tax. That 1% is a lot, but we need it for our city. It needs to go, and we need to do it. We need all your help. So if we need more people like you guys to step forward and do it. Measure G is good. I don't tell people how to vote. Vote however you want. You have that right. I am not going to tell people what I'm going to vote for, but I support it. Another thing, don't forget, this Saturday, May 16th, the Crusaders are throwing a car show, Blessing of the Cars, again, Madonna del Sasso, 10 to 3. I found out it's free admission now. It used to be $5, free admission for walk-ins, free now. And then rolling is at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So you got to bring your cars in early so the priest can go around and bless them all. A lot of food going to be there. Mr. Osorio, are you going to have anybody there on your behalf? Awesome. There you go. See, support Mr. Osorio. And then also on May 30th and 31st, Taco Fest is going to be here at the Rodeo Grounds. Please support our local vendors. These are all people that live in our area. Food trucks, bunch of great food. It's going to be a car show. You're going to love it. Please come out and support. And everybody out there, please come to city council meetings. We need you guys to put in some input. I see the same 4 faces every time I come. I'm supposed to be on the other side this time. It's only 4 of us every time. We need more people. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about him. 5. He's not out there. 5 of us. Maybe 6.
One meeting, and what do I have to put out?
No, sir. No, not at all. Much respect to you. We need more people to participate in local government because there's a lot of issues coming up. And for people to say, oh, nobody told me, you need to be proactive and come to the meetings. I'm tired of people saying, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do and this and that. It's easy. Come and listen. Make up your own mind. I never tell people how to vote, how to decide, or which way to go. I just let people get information. Get the information, make your own conclusion, be your own person, vote the way you want. Those are all my comments. Thank you, guys. God bless you.
Commissioner Mattelli.
I do have one question for the commission, I think. Can we, as a commission, formally request the police to do a specific monitoring of speeds, like the concern you're saying? Yes. Can we make a formal request to say, we need you to focus your energy for this time period or whatever in this area because this is what we're seeing?
We can make the request, sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see why not, but there are unfortunately some staffing limits and obviously issues that may preclude them from.
But that's the idea behind Vision Zero.
Yeah. I mean, we can make, we can recommend hotspots that we'd love to see some love.
And so how would that work? Does that come from you as chair, from staff? Do you guys know?
Can we draw up a resolution? Is that something that we do? And say we recommend as a commission that the police department traffic unit focuses on this particular corner for a hot minute?
I can discuss this with the chief, but I believe so. In prior conversations that we've had with him, basically they've said, if you have any concerns, just send us a Q alert, and they will start looking at those specific areas. So anyone from the general public can actually send those queue alerts and say, hey, we have concerns about speeding at this location, and they will try to do their best to actually address that.
Okay.
But do you think if it was a formal request from the commission that it might?
Like get more weight?
Yes, yes.
Get a little grease the wheels a little bit?
Maybe, maybe.
I mean, you know,
Without
what
a power trip?
I think we can probably draft a letter,
Okay.
and if we're all on the same page, we all rubber stamp it, and, because ultimately, I think the city will take your request in any way, shape, or form, or at least they should, because not everybody has access to queue alerts,
Yeah.
my opinion.
Drafting a letter could have problems with the Brown Act. So some person or a subcommittee would have to do that.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to get less than quorum together and draft a letter, it sounds like we can legally do that without getting in hot water. That's it? All right, Commissioner Sonio.
Yeah, so just like Commissioner Guerra said, there's a lot of community events that are going to be happening in the community. There's also another car show. Alisal High School is doing a car show with the Alisal High School Rotary Interact Club. The funds that are raised go to their Ukraine trip. So you can enjoy the fun on Sunday, May 17th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. At Alisal High. And for folks that don't know where Alisal High is, it's at 777 Williams Street, Salinas, California. Williams Road. Yeah.
Do you know where it is?
Well, if you were reading what I was reading, it says area code 93901. Or zip code.
93905.
93901. Oops. So I tried giving you guys a shout out. You guys got me all messed up here, but
93905. Oh, we're just in the O's.
93905.
Covers the whole city.
Thank you again, staff. Thank you for your reports. I really appreciate your work. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Last things, I did receive a few messages or a message from a constituent regarding some road construction I've inquired about, so we're waiting to hear back from that. Anybody has any questions about issues that they see on the road with construction not completed or whatnot, let me know. I also saw the same city folks, or I believe it was, I think it was a contractor, but Public Works is definitely going out and putting in the ADA ramps throughout our neighborhoods, which is really great to see. I've had, like, in my district, I've seen multiples of them. They're everywhere, which is great. I'm curious if Michelle Overmeyer from MST is going to come back and do a presentation for us. I'm wondering if she could, because they're getting closer and closer to their MST move to maybe satisfy some of the questions that we have surrounding that. I don't think it's going to happen this year as in the implementation. We're further away than that, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. The Alvin overpass, that's a land use issue, and it sounds like it's already being addressed. And yeah, I'd be upset too if I had dump trucks dumping things in my neighborhood. So. And I used to live in that neighborhood, so I'm actually very familiar with that area. And I've always wondered where the overpass went. It was in a general plan from like 30 years ago, and then it just disappeared.
It's impossible now.
And then, let's see. That's basically it. Ultimately, again, the people that are speeding in your neighborhood, they're your neighbors. So, publicly shame them.
The little kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you are dying to say something else.
I am dying to say something. Yes, I actually do have also an announcement, an event. So starting Sunday to Saturday, I don't know if you were at the council meeting, but Sunday through this upcoming Sunday through Saturday will be National Public Works Week. And to celebrate National Public Works Week, the city of Salinas, the county of Monterey, and the city of Soledad are getting together to have a celebration at Toro Park. So you are all invited to come out to Toro Park on Sunday, May 17th from 11:30 to 3 p.m. to celebrate National Public Works Week.
What kind of food are you going to have?
What kind of food are you gonna have?
No idea. There will be food trucks.
Oh, okay. It's like an
Yes.
event then.
Yes, it's definitely an event.
Informational?
Well, what will be is typically what happens is we bring out a bunch of equipment, so it's very much a touch a truck type of event,
Gotcha.
and then we provide obviously information about the services that we provide, and provide a bunch of goodies for the public to have.
Ariana, what time was that again? I'm sorry.
It's 11:30 to 3 p.m. on Sunday, May 17th.
Thank you, Ariana. Appreciate it.
Great. Well, I think that's about it, and I will call this meeting to, we're going to adjourn this meeting at 7:16.